Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. This is Mrs. Priyadarshini of Biology Department from Pon Vidyashram School. I am going to present you on the new chapter, the class 9 biology, tissues. What are tissues? A group of cells that are similar in structure and they work together to achieve a particular function is called a tissue. So now I have presented you a picture on the various levels of organization. Cells are the basic unit of life. So already we have learned from the last chapter that cells are the basic unit of any life structure. A group of cells that are very similar in structure, they join together or they work together to form a particular structure called tissue. The same wise, same type of tissues will be organizing to form a single organ. Similar group of organs which performs a same function, they all forms a organ system. So the different types of organ systems will make up one organism. So for example, the gastric cells. So the stomach cells, all they join together to form a gastric tissue. So these gastric tissues will form a single organ called the stomach. Different organs like stomach, esophagus, intestines, buccal cavity, all they group together to form a single organ system. Different organ system like digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system and nervous system, different systems will make up one organ. Here we are going to see about the types of tissues. What are the different types of tissues? Plant tissues and animal tissues. Can you see the picture? So plant tissues are always green in color, that is due to the presence of chlorophyll. And even you can see one important component called the cell wall that is very different from the animal tissues. So the cell walls are the very unique feature of a plant cell. Whereas in animal tissues you can see the irregular shaped structures and they are of various types. Now let me tell you why plant and animal tissues are different. So plants and animal tissues are different based on the two factors. One is based on the ability to move. Plants cannot move but animals can. So this is a very important feature that makes the plant tissues are made differently from that of an animal tissue. And then the second is based on the pattern of growth throughout their lifetime. So how this is because the plant cells will grow and grow till the end of their life. So there will be continuity of the growth throughout their lifetime. But whereas for animals there will be limited growth seen. Here I have presented you the differences between the plant cell and the plant and animal tissue. So what do you have mainly in plant tissue is, so they are dead supportive tissues, right? So they are mostly dead cells, and which makes the additional, they help in the maintenance of the particular plant system. Whereas in animal tissues, there are less dead tissues. They are more living supporting tissues in case of animal tissues. Because of this dead cells, the energy required is less. But in case of animal tissues, this is more. So there is differentiation in plant cells like meristematic tissues, permanent tissues, all that we will study in the upcoming slides. But these differentiation cannot be seen in animal tissues. And the important thing about the plant tissue is that they are meant only for the stationary habit, that is, they do not move. But the animal tissues, they are meant for locomotion. So now we see the plant tissues classification. Plant tissues are classified into two main categories as meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. The meristematic tissues are further classified into apical meristems, intercalary meristems and lateral meristems. Now the permanent tissues are further classified into simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So the simple permanent tissue is classified into three categories, that is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. In complex permanent tissues, they are classified into xylem and phloem. Now in the upcoming slides we will learn in detail about these tissues. Now first we will see on the main properties of the meristematic tissues. So what is the main property of a meristematic tissue? They have the ability to divide, to form new cells. So they are also called as dividing tissues. They are seen in the younger cells, tissues which helps in the growth of the plant. So where you can see them, they are found only in the growth regions. Okay, so the growth regions of the plants possess the meristematic tissues. So they will increase the length and width of the plant. So how about the tissues, how about the cells? They are very active. They have dense cytoplasm, they have thin cellulose walls, prominent nuclei, and even you cannot see vacuoles. Vacuoles will be very less in such meristematic tissues. These tissues, they grow and mature and they slowly change their characteristics and they become differentiated into many other types of tissues in the plants. That is, they undergo a process called differentiation. By this process, these meristematic younger cells will differentiate into permanent tissues, which will help in the supportive functions of the plant tissue, plant body. Now we are going to see the types of meristematic tissues. So how you can classify the meristematic tissues? Of course, on the basis of the position where the particular meristematic tissue is present in a particular plant body, based on that only the meristematic tissues are classified into three types. What are they? First, it is the apical meristems. Apical, what is apical? It is the apex. It is the upper, the top root and the shoot. You can see them in the root and shoot. The top of the apex of the root and shoot possess the apical meristems. And what are intercalary meristems? So those which you can see in between the nodes of a particular plant body, these tissues, they are termed as intercalary. Since they are present between the internodes, they are also called as intercalary meristems. And the third one is the lateral meristems. What are lateral meristems? They are found in the side or in the girth of the plant body. They are involved, they are the only type of meristems which helps the plant to grow in the sidewise or the girth. The width of the plant gets growing because of the presence of this lateral meristems. So there is a simple experiment to show you the presence of apical meristems that you can see commonly by using an onion bulb. So this experiment, what you can see is, you can take two glass jars and fill with water. So then place it with iron bulbs. So we are going to remove the dead tissues initially, and then we can place it in the water. So now you can see them slowly growing. You would have seen this commonly in even in your mom's kitchen. Some onion will start getting rooted. This is because of the presence of water available to them. So in this experiment, we are going to place it in water and we are going to measure the length of the roots for first 1 or 2 days, and then the second jar roots will be, the roots of the second jar will be cut, okay, by about 1 centimeter. Now shall we see what are the observations we are going to see? So what is the first observation is the jar 1 has longer roots. Why? Because the jar 1 has the onion with the meristematic tissues. The tip of the roots with the meristematic tissues were not cut. So they will be continuing to grow. What about the jar 2? Will there any growth? No, there will not be any root growth in jar 2 because we have cut the root tips which has the apical meristems. And then this is because we have removed the apical meristematic tissues, right? So you can see the different types and their location and their function. Okay, so this is very important topic, and we have to memorize where the location and the function. So first is apical meristem. They are located at the growing points, as we already seen, at the top of the stem and the end of the roots, and you can see them in the axillary buds. So what is the main function? They will help the plant to grow lengthwise, right? The height of the plant is determined by the apical meristems. The second one is the intercalary meristem. We already seen they are in the internode regions between the places where the leaves will get attached to the leaf base. So these are very active, and you can see the growth of the plant. Many plants, they have growth at the sideways, shrubs especially, right? So hibiscus plants, the shrubs, you can see them growing from the sideways. Many plants will start growing from the side of the stem, and this is due to the presence of the intercalary meristem. And the last is the lateral meristems, and they are also called as cambium. So the xylem and the phloem, you can see them here. So where the lateral meristems are present, they are present in the sides of the stem, and they are situated parallel to the longitudinal axis. So this function of the lateral meristem is mainly on the girth, that is the diameter or the thickness of the stem. So next we see on the permanent tissues. So these are the tissues that arise from the meristematic tissues by a process called differentiation. So what is differentiation? So it is a process of taking up a permanent size, shape and a function. So these permanent tissues, they have lost their ability to multiply. They cannot multiply at all, they cannot divide. Next we will see the types. So how many types of permanent tissues we have seen? So they are the simple permanent tissue and the complex permanent tissue. The collenchyma are the living and elongated cells, and they are irregularly thickened at the corners. This is a very special feature of a collenchyma. You can see irregular thickening at the corners, and this is the cause why you can see them. Colon means glue. So it's a glue type. It's a thicker. They are thicker structures, and you can see them in the non-woody plant structures, and you can see them below the epidermis of the stems and veins of the leaves. And the main function is they provide a mechanical support, and they give an elastic structure. If you have seen any dicotyledonous plants or in any green leafy vegetables, you can turn the plant, you can make the plant to bend, but it will not break. Such elasticity is due to the presence of collenchyma. The next is the sclerenchyma. They are elongated, narrow, fiber-like cells, and these are mostly dead cells. They are pointed at both ends and they are thickened. You can see them around the vascular bundles, veins of leaves, and even the hard outer covering of the seeds and shell nuts. These are because of the presence of sclerenchymatous tissues. They provide a roughness or the strength to the plant parts. So up to this we have seen about the simple permanent tissues. In the next session we will learn more about complex permanent tissues and then about the protective tissues. Thank you.